is December 28th. My mic is not on. Can everybody hear me in the back okay? Good. Welcome everybody to City Council meeting. It's December 28th. As we always do, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Councilman Andre Wallace.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so good evening everybody. We believe that this is going to be the last council meeting of the year, so we want to wish everybody a happy new year. We hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah. We're going to get right into it, but as we always do, we start off with the rules. We ask for the gentlemen to remove all of your hats. We want you to know that there are 2 exits outside of the council chamber. There's a main entrance that has the grand staircase. There's also a staircase towards the back going down towards DPW as well. We ask you to turn off the cell phones so that we don't get any disturbances. And there's not that many people in the room, but we always ask for anybody that's in the chambers to refrain from speaking because the noise travels and we can actually hear you whispering, even if you're in the back. If you think you're whispering to your neighbor, we can hear you. If we can hear you up here, we're sure the people around you can hear. And we ask that everybody pays attention to the person that is at the mic. So tonight we have 8 speakers that are listed. As you know, we have 3 sections to our public council meetings. Well, first is the public speaking session where people call in before 3 p.m. on the day of the council meeting. They're on a list so that they can speak. So we have 8 people on our list. Then in between that, the council responds to everybody that speaks. We ask that people that do come up to speak stick around to hear a response from the council. Then we usually take a 5-minute break, which in reality turns out to be like 15 minutes. And then we go right into our legislative session. So those are the sections of the council meeting. So without further ado, I'm going to start with our speakers list. Did I miss anything?
No, sir.
Anything? No? All right. Speaker number 1, Erwin Billy.
Erwin Billy, 157 Elwood Avenue, Mount Vernon, 15552. I just came here to basically be critical of the mayor. I mean, the last time I was here, I spoke about the council, and I, went on and on about how I didn't see anything being done. However, after the shooting that had happened, I had ran into Councilman Wallace, and I was glad to see that he was working on a few things, and he's changed some signs over there by the area where the shooting occurred by the mansion. I was happy to see that he was there answering a lot of questions that the reporters were seeking, and that he was able to provide them with some information. That's what I like to say. We like to say it's like aggressive leadership, because he's in the streets, and that's where everything is going on. As far as Mr. Thomas, we have to do something about these residency laws, because he has all of these commissioners that are not residing in the city, and now I see that the comptroller has been instructed to stop paying them. We can't have this type of thing going on while the mayor is running. He's a new mayor. He doesn't really have that much experience, but to have this type of disruption is kind of crazy. I mean, the residency laws were established for people who are residents of Mount Vernon. So, it's kind of odd that, you would allow someone who doesn't currently live here to be a commissioner of the city, especially if they have no background of Mount Vernon. So I would like to see that, these residency laws is changed so that at least 1 year residency is required for these commissioners, because this is a big mess, and it's going to be a showdown. And I'm just waiting to watch and see how everything is going on, because a lot of these commissioners that don't live here, like, they don't care. I've gone to the DPW and I've complained. They don't provide the service where they're supposed to get it. Mondays, they're supposed to be refuse days. They're picking up trash at the buildings, at these buildings that I see. So I don't think that's fair. I think that if refuse day is Monday, you should come and pick up my needs, and then whatever else you want to do, you do that afterwards. You know, it's just a misappropriation of the service and the funds, and I see it. And it's because these commissioners don't live here and they don't care. You know, you got Sean, this commissioner of the parking department, like, he shouldn't really be working in Mount Vernon. I mean, he used to live here, but he doesn't live here anymore. And when you have these commissioners working in these type of situations, they're compelled to do things that are not, you know, above board. And, you know, I wanted to get into some other things, but my time is running out.
You have a minute.
Other than that, you know, as far as the mayor and all these squabbles he's having with Ms. Walker, like he put in a buzz at the door. I'm coming out of City Hall. She's out there frustrated because she can't get in because nobody's buzzing the door. I mean, some of these things that I'm seeing are very infantile, and it's not really, you know, conducive of leadership for a city as big as, you know, robust as Mount Vernon. So I'm like, you know, I would like to see some changes because things are out of control. The corruption is out of control. Jerry Poster got convicted. She's not going to do any time, but I'm pointing that out to say the planning board has been a consistent area where, you know, they put these people in and you start seeing the money fly here and there. And they just resolved that in the Ernie Davis administration. We need better leadership. That's my time.
Thank you, Mr. Good. I failed to tell the folks that are speaking, Mr. Billy did a great job, thank you. We have a buzzer system, and everybody gets 4 minutes to speak. After the first 3 minutes, the buzzer goes off, and just simply lets you know that you have 1 additional minute to speak, so we're asking you to wrap up your remarks. At the second buzzer, that means that your 4 minutes are up, and we ask that you conclude with your remarks. So with that, Mrs. Richardson.
Good evening, I'm Gene Richardson, 21 West Sanford Boulevard, Mount Vernon, New York. Good evening, everyone. I want to talk about the shooting that went on over the weekend. It was very disturbing. I would like to know, are we going to hire any more policemen? Because if we had more police on from the 12 to 8 or 11 to 7, whatever their shift is, maybe there would have been 4 cops out there before that happened, just checking to see if we had designated drivers, leaving the club to see if everybody was sober that's getting behind the wheel of a car, and maybe that shooting would have been so critical. We need a police commissioner because the police are doing what they want to do. It's known factor, common knowledge. You don't have a boss, as they say, the cat's away, the mice play. And it's very simple. It's seen, it's noted. I very seldom see a police car in the vicinity of Sanford Boulevard and Fifth Avenue. And it's a speedway out there. You got children going to Cecil Parker and Turner School, and cars are just missing them every morning when school is open. 7:30 in the morning, 40 miles an hour. They don't wait to turn on red. You don't need a camera there. You need to change the lighting structure, and you need the presence of a cop there. The school crossing guard almost got hit the other morning before school let out for this holiday. I'm out there walking my dog at that time in the morning. That's why I see these things. So when there's nobody to watch the house, people do what they want to do, and I know that for a fact. When I was in the job force, I was a director, but my environment ran exactly where it was supposed to run if I wasn't there, because it was just that way. We had loyal people there. people know that they can do what they want to do here, and they're doing it, and it shouldn't be allowed. What are we paying people to do? Sit on their behind? I go to the ATM machine, kid tells me, Granny, give me your money and your ATM card. That makes sense? Broad daylight, I'm gonna get robbed. This is my home. I'm not having it. I'm tired of it. I am totally tired of it. It's become annoying that nobody cares anymore. If you don't care, don't come here. Real simple. Leave. I was born here. I was raised here. I watched this city turn to, now it's nothing. And I see some quiet vibes going on. We're in a new century. Why are we still operating like we're in the 1990s? It's real evident, and it's being seen, and people know who still have their hands in the pot running things. It's the city's money. We need people there. Been trying to get somebody down at Victim Services. Stood out there for 2 hours one morning. Nobody comes to work. But somebody's receiving a paycheck. That to me makes no sense. That's endless money being thrown out the window because nobody's being properly supervised. So we don't have supervision on the top. There's nothing going on in the bottom. So we need to get some help in here, get some things done. I want more police presence in this city. I want to know that I come out my house, I can feel safe. See, I fought for this country. It's time for some payback. I don't need to sit home and be afraid to come out my house, because I'm not scared of anybody. And like I told that young man, Granny totes a gun too.
Stephen Thomas.
Stephen Thomas, 2 South First Avenue, Mount Vernon. Hi guys, how are y'all today? Just before I get into it, really, I came up here to talk about public safety. However, you guys really got to be conscious of people's energy and what they say and admit to you. I see you guys are writing things down. You have people in here that are complete idiots. Then you have people in here that really mean something. And it all comes through your ears. And depending on what you guys do with it, it shows in your inaction. And it's unfortunate, me sitting here, 36 years old, my friend is dead. Inaction is what you guys are doing. And it's messed up. Do you even see it? Do you even see it? And I come here with a passion, and I pray to God that you guys can see it. And my passion is going in the complete opposite direction of you guys, because I'm going forward. You guys are all going backwards. And it's screwed up. Here, another thing. This gentleman here, what happened to Light? Suing the city, yet the labor law is saying he's wrong. And you guys do what? Just let them deal with it. Somebody is shot. Killed. And that's right, I can't expect you guys to come out with a Superman suit and save the city. Yes, but what are you doing? Inaction. For what? Where are you? Yana, I grew up with you. I expect you of all people to be making sure Memorial Field is nowhere near what it is. When Best Buy was a parking lot. Early 90s, early 80s. I was there, and so were you. I have no idea where you were. I have no idea where you were. But I was out there, a Razorback. And so were you. Lisa, I don't know too much about you. I really don't. I can't even really talk too much. Mr. Puzo, I know you very little. I see you here, there. You know my son. I really can't talk too much. But what I can say is, inaction! For what? Who's gonna wake up and do something? He woke up to sue the city. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So Thomas, your language
Is adult, and it's necessary. And it's unfortunate that you want to sit there and say, listen, don't curse at
You
me.
have children in the room.
I'm just the council president, and I'm gonna sit here, and I'm just gonna listen to somebody who's really saying something important.
We have children in the room, sir.
That's perfectly fine. You wanna know what? They watch Cartoon Network, they hear it there. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they hear it. YouTube, it doesn't matter. So let's stick to the subject here. Inaction. Inaction, another 60 seconds on top of that. I know y'all don't want to hear me no more. And it's funny. It is funny, you're right, it's funny. It's funny because I'm really up here saying it to you. I'm not up here trying to be an ass. I'm not up here trying to be a jerk. I'm not up here trying to bash people. I'm not. I'm up here telling you exactly what you guys are doing. You're going the wrong direction. And the city sees it. None of you should run again. You do not represent Mount Vernon. You're a cancer, and it's unfortunate, and you spread. Call me alkaline, not even chemo.
Brenda Crump. Brenda Crump, please. Oh, yes. Does Denise, please?
Good evening, my name is Destiny Crump. I live at 432 Dunham Avenue. Horton's vision for Mount Vernon streets. Terrence Horton says his plan to bring energy-efficient lighting, millions of dollars in savings and jobs to the city of Mount Vernon has run headlong into petty politics and blurry visions. The entrepreneur and developer signed a $3.1 million contract in May 2015 with the city, under which his company, Sentinel Technologies, would replace old-school streetlights with energy-efficient LED lights. At the same time, the project would create green technology, jobs training, and paid internships for Mount Vernon's youth and address the city's high unemployment crisis. The trained workers would then earn regular jobs maintaining the new LED system or qualify for employment elsewhere. Now, over a year since the deal was signed, the jobs training program and internships have yet to start, and not a single LED light has been installed. In fact, the whole project, and with it millions of dollars in potential savings, is now in jeopardy as the two sides are locked in a legal court dispute. Under terms of the contract, a copy of which was reviewed by the Black Star News, Mount Vernon was required to pay Sentinel $450,000 after completion of the phase 1 of the contract, which called for conducting a comprehensive survey of all of Mount Vernon's streetlights and supplying the city with the database and sampling. The actual cost for the phase 1 work was $600,000 according to Horton, but the city had set a cap. After certifying that the first phase had been completed by the city was to authorize Sentinel to start installation of the LED lighting after making the payment. But the city only paid $113,000 of the $450,000. And since a new administration took office under Mayor Richard Thomas, who replaced Ernest Davis, not only has Mount Vernon refused to pay the $337,000 balance for the phase 1 work, but the city is trying to scrap the entire deal, records show. Section 4 of the contract, a copy of which was reviewed by the Black Star News, calls for payment for the work completed and also allows for the contractor to seek damages. The city's initial objection was that Sentinel didn't post the bond required for the work, but under the terms of the contract, Sentinel wasn't required to post the bond until the commenced phase 2. It's amazing that this city is willing to waste hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayers' money on a legal defense they can't win, Horton tells the Black Star News, as well as the privacy of hundreds of badly needed jobs. They will derail the most comprehensive educational and green science training program and jobs campaign ever initiated through a joint collaboration of private and municipal participation. The city is being represented by White Shoe Wall Street law firm Aaron Fox. Calls by the Black Star News to Mayor Thomas and to City Council President Marcus Griffith to get the city side of the story were not returned. Documents reviewed show that after completing the first phase, Sentinel sent the deliverables to the city with a cover letter dated June 4, 2015, addressed to then Mayor Davis, to the President of the City Council, Marcus Griffith, and to the Commissioner of the Department of Public Works, Curtis Woods. The letters were time-stamped at Mount Vernon City Hall. Woods in turn sent Sentinel a letter dated June 11, 2015, certifying completion of the work. After receiving the survey audit and comparison analysis data of the sampling audit, 484 lights, Phase 1, as described in Schedule A of the contract, has been completed, states the letter of certification. The audit sampling has been approved, and you may proceed with Phase 2 of the contract. Even though the contract stipulated that Sentinel would be paid the $450,000, the city started dragging its feet, records show. Notwithstanding what the contract stated, the city now demanded that Sentinel produce the bond prior to payment for Phase 1 work. In essence, the city was asking Sentinel to get bonding for work that it had already completed and paid for as certified by Commissioner Woods. Horton notes that cash-strapped Mount Vernon had not allocated enough money for the study. Sentinel did not even realize mobilization funding from the city, Horton said, due to its financial crisis. Since then, they are trying to bamboozle Sentinel for this unprecedented study, benefit from it, and not pay for it now. After Sentinel's team met with Mayor Davis and the city's then Corporation Council, Lauren Racer, Sentinel's paid $113,000. Sentinel continued its demand for payment. Horton says it's ironic that Aaron Fox is now trying to help get the city out of the contract, considering that the firm was initially hired by Racer, the city's former corporation counsel, to help vet the Sentinel deal before it was approved. Aaron Fox's sole responsibility was to ensure that all city due diligence had been performed correctly, Horton says. In addition, Fox mandated that the only way they would provide the city with their final opinion letter was to have Sentinel go through an additional scrutiny by the city council and board of estimates approval, which in itself is unprecedented. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Very nicely done. Everything in there was true, 100%, with the exception to me being called about some newspaper. I've never been called by Black Star News about anything because I would have been happy to acknowledge everything that Destiny said was absolutely correct. So, very well done. Very well done. I just want to pause on that and say that. It's a shame that we haven't executed that contract. It would have been a great contract to have. It would have been the first one in with LED lights, and it's just being kicked down the road left and right. So I just want to say again, very well done. But I will say, I was not contacted by Black News. I don't know who they are. And if they want to call me on a real number, I'll be happy to acknowledge that everything you said was correct. But thank you very much for that. Timothy Crump, please.
Timothy Crump, 432 Dunham Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. After they were charged with their responsibility to ensure all legal processes were adhered to, they now have been hired to undo what they painstakingly performed so that no unforeseen entity would stake a claim of impropriety, he adds. How can they now take issue with the very due diligence the taxpayer already paid a king's ransom for to guard the taxpayers? In Mount Vernon, the Board of Trustees released all payments by the city, whether it's for purchase of equipment, settlements of claims against the city, or specialized training for police officers. According to the minutes of board estimates meeting held on December 15, 2015, city officials voted 2-1 to approve the payment of the balance owed to Sentinel for phase work completed. Mayor Davis and the council president provided the majority. Maureen Walker, the comptroller, abstained. Razor, the corporation council, also backed the payment, saying the financing was coming from Capital One Bank. The minutes showed the comptroller asking why the city was even voting on a Sentinel payment. Sentinel had already brought the funding source to the table, and the menus were already approved and available, records show. The corporation council Razor explained that they went through the redundant, exhaustive process to just approve Capital One Bank, that the city was on board, Horton added. The minutes showed that then Mayor Davis also showed his frustration, complaining that the city had lost a year of savings because of bureaucracy, apparently in reference to benefits that they could have from LED lighting. Aaron Fox took the city and the taxpayers through a litany of costly, unnecessary billed hours. There has since been a breakdown in communication between the two sides since the new administration took office. The new mayor ignored several requests by Percival Clark, Sentinel's lawyer, for an in-person meeting to resolve the contract disputes according to letters reviewed by the Black Star News. Subsequently, Aaron Fox, the highly powered law firm, sent Clark a letter dated February 10, 2016, that the city was terminating the LE contract alleging material breach. Horton said the high-priced firm is taking the city and taxpayers in merry-go-round. The Black Star News is going to determine how much Mount Vernon has paid the firm for the ongoing case since the messages were not returned. The city has opened an open-ended contract with the law firm. The contract clearly stipulates the only way the city can terminate it if there is clear threat to public safety, Horton noted. Aaron Fox was paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to illegally terminate a contract that they were professionally, morally, and legally bound to advise the city that it cannot do. Now the matter is before the judge, Alan D. Shanklin, who will likely be able by early July on Sentinel's motion for a summary judgment. A court decision has finally been reached on the matter considering a dispute between Terrence Horton, principal of Sentinel Technology, and the city of Mount Vernon revolving around the installation of 4,400 highly efficient LED lights throughout Mount Vernon. For some time now, the LED light dispute has been dominating the front of both the Journal News and the Inquirer, Mount Vernon's hometown newspaper. The Journal News has been criticized by many, providing readers with inaccurate information about the issue, while the Inquirer has empowered readers with true and accurate facts. The LED streetlight matter all started when the city of Mount Vernon put out an RFP in 2015 to have 4,400 lights replaced, and Horton submitted a bid, and his company was selected and granted the lucrative contract. Horton's company was selected by the city because he was offering incentives that would benefit the Mount Vernon populace and its youth, while the other bidders were not.
Did you have more, sir?
There's a couple of things here.
If you would need to conclude, go ahead and conclude.
The mere thought that Mount Vernon's unemployment rate, the highest in Westchester County, will be positively impacted is very inspiring, and the promise that our youth will be trained in a very lucrative field is a measure of success for a city seeking to move ahead, said after Horton. He was awarded the contract. Horton was the only bidder that offered to conduct an energy audit of the city streetlight system. Sentinel performed this critical mapping, survey, data collection, and analytical compilation with its own financing, since the city did not have the funds to complete the crucial analysis. Furthermore, no one realizes that no other city in the tri-state region had ever performed this critical data compilation process prior to Sentinel. Today, everyone is using this method.
Thank you, sir. Lorraine Crum? Lorraine Crum? Thank you.
Lorraine Crum, 432. After Mayor Thomas took over, he decided to determine that his legal bonding contract terminated. I think I could have did better with another company, he stated at the time. Horton decided to sue the city for $337,000, the balance the city owed him for completion of Phase 1 audit, which the city incorrectly argues was never completed. He was previously paid $113,000, and the city refused to pay the balance. On November 1st, after several months of waiting on the decision, Judge Alan Shankman, Chief Judge of the state's 9th Judicial District, ruled that Sentinel had a binding agreement with the city regardless of which administrator signs off to it. Judge Shankman has ordered the city to pay Horton's $337,000, which is a part of a bigger deal, since the city signed off on a loan totaling $2.7 million to have the streetlights installed. The city of Mount Vernon signed off legally binding contracts with Sentinel and now wants to walk away from it, but they can't. Before the contract was signed, the city council and the board estimates and contracts approved the contract on more than one occasion after carefully scrutinizing the facts. Furthermore, the banks that provided the loan on the $2.7 million to install the LED lights also made sure that the Sentinel was fully qualified to perform the task and that he was fully insured and bonded. In addition, Judge Alex Shankman and his staff spent months combining through the information provided by the city and Sentinel on the lawsuits by Horton and his attorneys. Based on his research and decision, there was no breach of contract by Horton and Sentinel. In his lengthy 23-page decision, Shankman wrote that Horton completed the work that he had contracted to do in the Phase 1 of the contract. He also mentions that Horton's also satisfactorily completed the details and complex audit of the existing streetlights. He further emphasized that Horton is entitled to be paid the remaining money for the audit, which amounts to $337,000. The city has also been ordered to pay interest on this money. The city created a serious binding for the taxpayers since they now pay interest on the $2.7 million loan it took out to pay for the new streetlights after renegating on the legal signed contract awarded to Vernon. Adding injury to assault, the city must pay this money that has been sitting in an escrow account, even though no lights were never installed. The Journal News recently wrote a story on the judge's decision, but elected not to print it in a hard copy of the publication. They chose to just place the story on their website and did not make it very visible to readers. As in the past reporting on the LED streetlights, they repeated many of the past incorrect information on the issues in their latest story. The citizens of Mount Vernon will be losing millions of dollars to this matter and would like their tax dollars are being burned in the fireplace, since there will be nothing to show for the loss that was ruined in the several $1 million after the EU factory in excessively high legal facts and interest. Taxpayers who have read the judge's decision on Lowell's website simply outraged. Many of them call on the city to simply allow Terrence Horton to complete and his company to finish what they started. This way, the money will not be simply lost, and the taxpayers can start repaying the yearly savings from the highly efficient LED streetlights. Furthermore, the unemployment can start getting hired to be trained in the field as Mount Vernon's youth. Consequently, the city has a real dilemma, since appealing Judge Streitman's decision will be foolish. Since he is the chief judge of the state's 9th Judicial District and the appealing division will not rule against him after the 23-page detailed report he complied on his case. For the city to allow millions of tax dollars to go to waste is beyond being foolish. For them to start the process with another company will cost taxpayers additional millions of dollars. Law firms representing Mount Vernon on streetlights issue withdrawals from the case. Although a court decision has finally been reached in favor of Terrence Horton and the Sentinel Technology Services on the installation of 4,400 highly efficient LED streetlights through Mount Vernon continues to fight the decision. The city has not appealed, but requested to go before Judge Streitman one final time. He's the judge who put a lengthy 23-page decision together and has ordered the city to pay Horton $337,000 plus interest and other expenses. And the surprisingly shocking move, the law firm of Arian Fox LLP, who has been charging Mount Vernon's taxpayers a small fortune in legal fees to represent the city, has withdrawn from the case. The firm has accused the city of failing to cooperate in its defense of action involving Sentinel by refusing communication with Arian Fox countless occasions. The city's complete lack of communication has led to a fundamental breakdown of attorney-to-client relationship. In addition, the city refused to pay Arian Fox outstanding legal fees totaling $298,817.02, which averaged out to approximately $1,000 an hour for service they have provided in the losing effort. Mount Vernon taxpayers needed to branch themselves for additional fees Arian Fox will be charging for the city's November legal services. This whole matter is beyond appalling, since the city should have never tried to walk away from a legal binding contract with Horton and his firm. Now the city must seek another law firm, and when it's all over, taxpayers will be out millions of dollars with nothing to show for it. Mount Vernon needs to wake up and allow Horton to finish what he started. Otherwise, taxpayers will have to invest several more millions to start the process all over again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very good. Brenda Crump?
Brenda L. Trump, 432 Duncan Avenue, Mount Vernon, 10553.
I stand corrected, thank you.
I want to say that I'm asking that the community take the time to become informed, enlightened, educated, and empowered with knowledge regarding the Mount Vernon streetlights. I'm standing here before the community and the council. It's nothing personal with me. I'm not personalizing anything, and I'm not taking any sides. I'm a taxpayer, a homeowner. I'm a housewife. My husband's retired senior citizen. We're on a fixed income. I read an article on Facebook, actually a Facebook post, and one of the comments were, quote, "Streetlights remain dark." My question is, and I posted this, so I'm not saying anything about anybody behind their backs or it's public record here, but I also posed this question to the council as well. Mayor Richard Thomas, what is stopping the city from using the $2.7 million sitting in escrow for brand new streetlights, brand new energy efficiency LED streetlights for Mount Vernon taxpayers? not money to fix up lights, but money for brand new lights. What are the city's plans with regards to installing the new highly efficient LED street lights for taxpayers? When will the city have the new highly efficient LED street lights installed for taxpayers? Mayor Richard Thomas, how much longer will the city continue to spend hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars fighting to terminate a legally binding contract with Sentinel Technology Services International, Inc.? When will the city use the $2.7 million sitting in escrow to provide the Mount Vernon taxpayers with new street lights? Aaron Fox had no contract. I'm talking facts. This is in court documents. If people take the time to FOIL, you can FOIL for information. It's in court records. They told the judge that they had no contract. The judge more or less said to them, you don't have to quote me, the document is there to be quoted. That, well, then I suggest you go and get a contract. Because you're before me, how are you before me representing this case, representing these clients without a contract, a retainer? That's unheard of for lawyers to do work without a retainer. However, it has been done. It sounds like it should be something in regards to the Bar Association that's ethically, that's not right, because Aaron Fox was the company that did the ironclad contract in their favor, good work. So therefore, the contract stipulates that it cannot be broken unless there's public safety. There is no public safety. It sounds like Aaron Fox should have told this current administration that we were the firm that did it for the previous administration. Therefore, we know that it is a binding contract and you're not going to win this. You cannot get out of it. So ethically, we will not take this case. However, I do not have facts on this piece that I am saying, but perhaps maybe they saw this was another opportunity to drain more money out of Mount Vernon. And so they took that opportunity and they took a case that they cannot win. So now, will Aaron Fox be suing the city as the company that did the demolition of the zombie homes now turn around and suing the city? Will Aaron Fox turn around and sue the city for payments not received for October and for November? I have a Facebook comment that I seen that I like, and it was talking about people taking sides. I'm not taking sides, and people should not have to take sides because they take a stance on factual information, and people should always be willing to receive factual information. The Facebook comment reads, some people are critical thinkers, have opinions, and have expertise to offer. Thinking clearly, independently, are not always independent thinkers, and clearly, some people are critical thinkers, have opinions, and have expertise to offer. Thinking clearly and independently are not always valued. Thinking, quote, if you're not for me, you're against me, end quote, is not always true. So in closing, I want to leave with another comment that I seen on Facebook that I thought was very important, but I cannot find it now, so I will paraphrase it. Basically, it was saying to the administration here and people in the city that stop the arguing and the bickering and the fighting. You are elected officials. You are leaders. Set a role, be a role model and an example for young people. The youth are watching. So in closing, I'm saying that we've spent enough money. Please answer these questions. I posed these questions to our mayor via Facebook. I will write it up and pose them to him as well, and numerous times and have not gotten an answer. As taxpayers, people need to be informed, enlightened, educated, and empowered with knowledge, and not work off of hearsay, but work off of facts and documents. I foiled this city because I want to know as a taxpayer exactly how much money have we spent with this. Have we spent enough money in lawsuits to pay for the cleanup of Memorial Field? I believe we have. Am I foiled? I'll talk about that another day, but the answer that I got for the FOIL was not acceptable to me. So let me put it on record that I will be back with my FOIL. Thank you.
David Jones, please.
Good evening. Happy holidays, happy New Year to the board. My name is David Jones. I live at 33 North 3rd Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. And before I begin to talk about the issue of residency and the issue of public safety, I'd just like to mention that I have been on many national boards dealing with police policy and procedures. Pan-African Unity Dialogue, which deals with Afro-Caribbean community, dealing with police policies throughout those different countries. Gave expert testimony, Governor Patterson's Police on Police Shooting Task Force. When we tried to understand why black cops off duty of black clothes were being shot, and killed by their counterparts. Also, the United Nations Foundation, Southern District, Brother Yohana, you know it very well, which our recommendations made it to the Geneva Convention. Institute of the Black World 21st Century with Dr. Ron Daniels. I am on the Police Reform Task Force. So I think I am well qualified when I stand before you, elected officials of the people of Mount Vernon, to talk about public safety. I'm just not talking just to be talking. I'm just not talking out of feelings. I'm talking out of facts. And anything I say today, I can back up with facts. Now, I heard our elder right here speaking on public safety and that we need a commissioner. And yes, we do. We do need a commissioner. But one thing that is missing, that we have two commissioners. They're deputy police commissioners. And if they're not able to run the department, then they should not even have a job. And this is factual feelings. For a whole year, we talked about President Obama's 21st century policing which has never been implemented. January 20th, that's history. We understand that, right? That's history. So was it just talk to give the people something and we wasn't really going to do anything? If I do remember, Sergeant Harper came in front of you complaining that the 21st century policing model was not being put in effect. But you can't put it in effect because the first step is integrity, accountability, and transparency. You can't have that with an illegitimate deputy police commissioner. He shouldn't be wearing a badge. Your own city charter says within 15 days that paperwork should be handed over. He didn't bring it till June. I have the paperwork myself. I have the letters between the city clerk and the mayor. So you have someone impersonating a deputy police commissioner in your midst. And because of the lack of the city council to move forward on the residency, 12 months, you have put the city in dire straits of lawsuits. I know because I'm one of them that's suing. So, regardless of what people are saying, hold the mayor to the charge. See, if police officers that just started here, some have to move from other states to come here to be a police officer and make the little bit of money that they make, then police commissioners should live in the same community that the police officers have to live in. It's no special treatment. And then when you have unqualified management, it puts young officers that stand back there in danger. It puts the community in danger.
Yes, Jones.
Because we have issues just like last night with Brother Bounty. But that's not the first shooting, and it won't be the last. We don't need more police officers. We have 240 in a 4x4 square miles. We have just as many police officers here as they have in White Plains. It's the management that's doing wrong. They need to manage correctly. They need to follow protocol and policies and procedures and train these officers correctly. Because you're putting these young people's lives in jeopardy. Hold them to the charge. Yohana, you're over public safety, brother. Get in there behind. Get in there behind and do right. Because you're putting young people, 21, 22, 23, out on the street. And then what's gonna happen when we have to go to a young officer's funeral? What are we gonna say when we have a garbage man running the police department? You know the old saying, garbage in and garbage out.
Mr. James.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, everybody. That concludes our public speaking session. At this time, we're going to go around the council and have responses from council members. We ask that you folks don't leave. We all want to hear responses from the council. And I'd like to begin with Councilman Wallace.
Thank you, Council President.
I'm sorry, folks. It just disturbs me when people come and speak and then they don't stay for a response. We have to respond at this time so that it's done orderly and politely. So we oftentimes want to respond to people, to give people information that we may have or give our own feelings, especially when people question us. So I see there's a few people that spoke and then just left. I don't understand that. That's me. Councilman Wallace?
Thank you. Regarding Billy, basically with the residency, we have moved on to residency. So we are enforcing. Basically, a lot of things has happened in our city. There's been a lot of shootings in our city. There continue to be a lot of shootings, and I've listened to Deputy Commissioner Tony Mitchell as he left. Recently, we had a conversation, and he said before the year is out, there's going to be at least 3 more shootings, at least. And he said that's the minimum. And it's already happened from the time he spoke about it. And it's getting really bad in our city. And you know what makes it worse is when a mayor comes out on TV and blames it on the council. Now, I just want to break something down clearly so that people understand. And I hope you got this on Facebook over there. Is that going on Facebook Live?
I'm not allowed to interact.
All right, well, thank you, I hope it is. But the bottom line is, when you have that kind of irresponsible comments made, think about this. When he is marching around saying that these things are happening because the council president and the controller cut the budget in 2017 that we are getting people murdered in 2016. Think about it. What has not even happened yet, he is blaming next year on what's happening this year. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's senseless. So we need to sit down and think about what we're saying when we say these particular things, instead of just running off your mouth irresponsibly and saying foolish things. And his brother that comes in here, Stephen Thomas, with those asinine statements that he made is ridiculous. And I wish he was here because I would love to comment to him. So that's why I'm hoping he gets it on Facebook or someplace else. Because to come in here, grandstand, make this whole big thing and then walk out, you know, and then insult people in here, said half is stupid and half is not. You know, I would just look at him, I mean, I guess it must be the front half over here at the actual podium speaking that might not be too smart because of his comments. Ridiculous, really sad, really foolish. And also, I know people have questioned about the shooting, and I still haven't answered a question. I haven't got an answer to it, and I've been asking a lot of time. We have changed those parking signs to be off the streets at 2 a.m. Why was those cars still on the street, 2 a.m.? We've changed the law. It's the administration job to enforce the law. Why was it not enforced? That club was supposed to be shut down at 2 a.m. by law. Why was it still open at 5 a.m.? We make the laws. The mayor has to enforce the law. That is a question that when you come to City Hall, you should ask the mayor, why are you not enforcing the proper codes and laws in our city? I'm not saying that would have prevented what happened last night, okay? But who knows? The other night it could have made a difference. You know, it's bad. Somebody got shot last night in the leg over on 4th, and the responsible mayor goes out and says, "Oh, there was a fight in front of OK Freddy's, and that's why the guy got shot." It was not. It was not. A gentleman got shot, ran down the block, asked for help, and asked for OK Freddy's people to call the police and call an ambulance. And how did it turn out to come in a whole nother spin? And then you send the news media over to OK Freddy. And then say stupid things like, okay, this is why I was trying to shut it down before, trying to justify that and for ends for his news. Makes no sense at all. We need to wake up, and Ms. Crump said it well. Get the facts, read, understand what's going on. Because even when I see people talking still about the budget, if you look at the budget, there is no cuts. If you look at it, the same police officers that was unfunded in 2014, 15, 16 is the same. And I ask people, why do you say we're cutting all these services? Have you even looked at the budget? Most people are just listening to what the mayor's saying on his blog. I see it all the time. They sit back and they say, oh, it's great, mayor. No, it's a lie. Like he lied last night, said he came into the council meeting with us and said he asked for money for more police officers and we said no. I don't know what meeting he was in. And then you go back and you put out this stuff in the community and then we wonder why our community is divided so much. It's a shame. It's a shame. And Ms. Richardson, I understand about the police, but like Damon Jones said, we have a lot of police. We have great new officers that came in that are willing to learn, that are eager to get out there, that are doing a lot of things. I was at their graduation. I see them out on the street working hard. We got bad management. We have a deputy commissioner who has sent police officers up to White Plains to the Department of Labor to try to investigate me. And then we have a mayor who tells me that when I ask him what he's doing, and as my witness last night, says that's because Internal Affairs is investigating me. Now, anybody with any sense would know that Internal Affairs don't investigate outside, they investigate police officers. So where does he get this information from? What TV show is he watching? You know, because something is not right. It's ridiculous. But what we need to do is get better management so that the police force that we have can run more efficiently. We have a lot of great police. I would tell you, we have a great police force. It's the upper management. It's the deputy commissioners. They don't know what they're doing. Like he said, he'll do a better job. Stick to the garbage. You know? Run your garbage business. Don't come in here with no police experience, no police background, never spent a day on a police line or training, but you want to be the guy running the police department? Are you out of your mind? That is a slap to all of our police officers that put on the uniform. And that is a shame. Going down, I'm not even going to entertain, Stephen Thomas, because he doesn't make any sense at all to me. And Ms. Crump, thank you. It's always a pleasure for you to come out with facts. And I know that you're a factual person because a lot of times you ask me things and I give you a short answer and then you'll ask me again for the longer answer and you'll keep asking me until I give you the full story so that you have a complete factual understanding of what the discussion is or what I'm saying or what you're saying or what you want to get out of it. And I wish that more people were like that would really look into what exactly is going on. Because when you do, you would see it so clear what's happening. It's very, very basic, and like they said, the best way to hide, what you want to hide is in clear sight, plain vision. We're just not stepping back. I always use that model that, you can hold a book up to your nose. You can't see it until you move back away from it. Then you can really see what it's saying. And that's what we need to do. Step back for a moment and really look at what's going on. But yes, I am appalled mostly of these comments that have been coming out. I don't even address them anymore because they're so foolish. And the things that he's saying about the council and the controller have no basis at all. It's all hollow, it's all hot air, and it's all foolish. And if the mayor is watching on Facebook right now, I love to say to him, stop playing games and do your job, period. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Rivera.
Excuse me. Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening.
To the microphone, please, Councilwoman.
Sorry. Let me just start off with the Crump family. I'm just so very proud of you, Timothy and Lorraine and Destiny. I happen to know these young people personally because they have spent many, many hours in the soup kitchen volunteering for us. So they come out with facts that their mother has taught them. And then you have someone coming to this council that must have taken method acting lessons from some famous method acting teacher, criticizing and trying to humiliate, and to me, being so disingenuous to this council. And to have the young people that are here, as Mrs. Crump said, the young people are watching. We have tried time and time again to work with the administration. And if we try to put out the right hand, we get slapped in the face with his left hand. And we can't figure it out, no matter what it is that we do. And every day, something else happens. And we don't have the same PR that he has. He has staff putting things on Facebook while they're not supposed to be doing that. There's an internal system that Bakari put out that nobody in City Hall during their working hours should be putting anything on Facebook. And his staff does just that. And we have proof of it. That's unconscionable. Where is the professionalism in this administration? It is very, very disturbing to me. And I'm sure to everyone else on this council. For the past year, we have tried so hard. The mayor came to the council meeting last night, told us that we would be able to meet with the engineer today, anytime you want. Put out his hand. Nobody ever called. If we don't get a roof on the tennis center in the next 2 months, it could be extremely, extremely dangerous. There is imminent danger because there's no roof on the tennis center. 3 months ago, it should have been on. Plywood was put up, tarmac was put up. There's no roof. How do you build a house without a roof first? It's insane. You know, it's very frustrating to us that sit here and work with an administration that doesn't have the proper leadership. So, everything that Councilman Wallace said, I have to ditto. I could go on and on, but you see my throat doesn't want me to. So I congratulate the young people for coming out, just to even come out and do it. You know, it's very hard for young folks to come and sit in front of a microphone. And as far as the shooting and the police force, I went down there and there was a newscaster sitting in front of the mansion. And I said, you know, I understand that the mayor put something out that it was the council's fault that this shooting occurred because it wasn't in the budget. And he looked at me and said, that has got to be the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard, and I would not put that on my broadcast. When people want to do bad things, they do bad things. Captain Adenaro stated immediately that the police were on the scene within minutes. They were right there. And then he has, because the mayor told him, to make another statement that it was our fault. Put something that was totally irrelevant, and it should have never been said. So we have a lot of work to do in the coming year, and this council will be working very hard at so many of the issues that we have, the lack of public safety, shootings, and so many other issues that we have. But let me wish you all a very happy and healthy and peaceful, if we can possibly find that, new year. And thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Councilwoman Puzo. Councilman Yana Edwards, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, family and residents of the city of Mount Vernon. Thank you for being here. It shows the concern that you have for our city when you come out and voice your opinions. And we really appreciate you coming out and voicing them in the tone that you voiced them in. There was only one person that came up here tonight with a little bit of disrespect. And that bothers me, because it bothers me, it bothers the whole council. But Mr. Billy, we are putting in place this residency. It's been in place for about a year. We've gone to the courts. The court said we have the right to do it. But in government takes a long time. Not like private industry, private business. It takes a long time because the mayor can go back to the courts and ask for a reprieve. And I think that's what's happening. We're not sure what's happening right now. But what we're looking at for the new year is more powers that the council does not have. And me being the longest on the council, it showed this year when the mayor and we, authorize or don't authorize something. And once it's not authorized, it should not be done. And it's been just done, without any authority to do it. So because of that, we're going back and asking for a way of advising and consenting. But I don't think we'll be able to do that immediately. We'll have to put something else with it, with some more teeth, so to speak, in the charter, because the charter has been written and it's been in place for many, many years. And so we're going to have to go ask our legal advisors how we do that. And I think a lot of the concern tonight was about residency requirements. Because it wasn't enforced over the years, okay, so it looked like politics when it was done this year. So it was a lot of fighting back and forth. But what we found out, once we found out, because of Andre Wallace being new on the council and energetic, there's a lot of things he brought to our attention that was not there. That's why we appreciate him being on the council. But we are working on it, believe us, we are working on it. It's taking a long time. Ms. Richardson, I'm glad you're doing better. We've seen you over the last couple of weeks, and I know you've had some challenges this year, but thank you for your voice, because we understand totally what you're saying, and it's not that we're being inactive, believe me. We're a council with limited enforceability to put things in place. Understand that, okay? Stephen Thomas, the mayor's brother, came in here. His brother runs this city, and he has to run it with what he has at this time. And if he can't run it, then he needs to step down, okay? But the thing is, he can't blame him being on the council for 4 years. He understands, or should understand, how things work. We are frustrated, totally frustrated. This has been a difficult year, very difficult year. But we're going into the new year with some better understanding of how to proceed, and believe me, you'll be seeing some things that will be a little different. The Crump family, I'm also very proud of you. You've been in training. That was a phone listen. That's another. The Crump family, you've been in training for many, many years. You started at the school system. So I've seen you when you were much younger, and you're almost professionals now. and the apple does not fall far from the tree, okay? Just continue to follow your mom and the things she does. And bringing up the Sentinel contract, absolutely correct. We fought that, we understood when it came to us at first what the Sentinel Corporation was going to do for the city. Our council president even took a trip to Korea to find out if it was authentic, what was being said. And when he came back and understood what were the possibilities, he said absolutely yes, informed us, let us know exactly what was happening, and we're on board. There's a lot of dynamics behind that, a lot of political dynamics behind that, which causes things as you've seen over the last couple of months. More cops is not always the solution, as was said earlier. More cops is not the solution. New York City has the most cops in the world, okay, and they can't stop certain things. You can put a cop on each corner, something's gonna happen because of the mentality of people, okay? We have to police ourselves, okay? And I've always said, I think you've heard me say, if each person, if each family here will control their building, their block, and become involved, that's where we solve things, okay? And I know Ms. Richardson, I think she was the president of her association in her building, you know, and I've been there and spoke many years ago, okay? And I know she's probably mad at me because I think one time she called and I didn't call her back. I remember that, Ms. Richardson. I remember that. And I apologize, that doesn't often happen. But she's been the president of her association. I've been a member of my association for 30 years. Okay, the 400 Concerned Citizens in the Heights section, all right? Our area is secure because we are secure as an organization. That's the way it works. You can't always depend on police. Your tax dollars goes to police and fire in this town. That's where most of your tax dollars go to. And you wonder why other communities don't have, you know, believe me, they're paying less for their police and their fire department, okay? So if we don't take control of ourselves, it's always going to be as bad as it is in our community. So let's just stand up. Again, thank you. I can't say it's going to be perfect next year, but believe me, we're going into the new year understanding a little bit more of how we have to deal with the president's administration. And hopefully, if he has gone to court, it may not happen until after tonight that he'll go to court and ask for a reprieve from, you know, the persons that are not residents of our community. Again, it has to go to a higher authority to authorize to do what we have to do. We can't just arbitrarily do it unless it's within the law. Okay, thank you. Merry Christmas. Hopefully you had a good Christmas and a better New Year. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Lisa Copeland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Certainly, thank you all for coming out this evening. I know these holiday times is difficult, and you know, myself just getting back to town, I have a stack of newspapers, and I feel like I'm learning a lot tonight, just hearing from you. But certainly, to the Crumps, thank you for providing facts. I always feel like, well, not feel, it's not even, I always know that people always deal in how they feel versus what's fact, and that happens a lot in our community, and it's unfortunate. Like Councilwoman Apuzzo has said, you know, we have worked with, behind the scenes, you guys have no idea, and I'm sure we'll continue to work behind the scenes with the mayor and the administration, despite, you know, the media blasts, and, you know, I feel more comfortable, and I know it's right to work behind the scenes, but it's difficult. You invite somebody to dinner, and then you beat up on them. That's how we feel sometimes. You know, at your holiday dinners, Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever, somebody invites you to dinner, and then they insult you the whole time. That's how I kind of felt this whole year. You know, and it has played out over and over again. And being a person born and raised in this city, I'd never seen Mr. Stephen Thomas either until last year. But as someone who's grown up and graduated and served this city 20 years and in the state senate, for the state senate, you know, I've seen a lot across the state, and a city like ours that has so much potential. We have so many things that so many other communities don't have, and it seems like we have to fight to take 3 steps, and then we go 2 steps back. But, you know, while the mayor was elected, so was I. and so are all these other members. And, you know, people get up here and say, we elected the mayor. Well, guess what? You elected us too. And whereas in the past administrations, I worked for Mayor Blackwood's, Mayor Jones, and Mayor Davis's, it's always a compromise, a give and take. No mayor has gotten everything they wanted. And that doesn't mean we dislike him. That doesn't mean we, you know, people are reading it wrong. We have to work to come to common ground. None of us get everything we want, and that's the nature of politics. It's called the art of compromise. And we need to compromise more behind the scenes, but sometimes that just doesn't work. And I am positive that 2017 will be better than 2016. I'm confident of that, because at the local and the state level, without the way our federal government's going to be, we're going to have to work better. And that's for sure. You can quote me on that. And to these officers, historically, we've had a lot of upper management police officers who have stayed continuously in our city, and a lot of the middle police officers with, you know, 7 to 10 years, they've gone on to other communities where they could get more pay. But we hope with this last contract that this council supported, that we'll be able to keep those middle people to train our new officers, so they'll have all their need, and we'll have consistency in our police department. That's something people don't talk about, us having like 20 commissioners, I think, in 10 years, maybe more. Some years we've had 3 police commissioners. So we need some consistency there. But we need those to abide by our charter. It wasn't made up, you know, it was made up way before some of us were born. And it was made up for a reason, so we have to follow it. So I am optimistic and not pessimistic that going forward, it will be better in 2017, and I wish you all a happy and a prosperous and a most important, healthy 2017. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Copeland. I just want to recognize some folks that are in the audience. I know Ms. Tyree Woodson from the Elliot Engel's office. Tyree, good to see you this evening. Former school board trustees, we have Brenda L. Crump and Dillian Parkinson in the back. Good to see you, ladies. Thank you. We also have Dwayne Brown from the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, sir. We see you there in the back. Thank you for bringing the information from the business community. I just want to say a couple of things. I was confronted by somebody today who approached me as I was getting my lunch, and they complained about how we have to get the taxes down and our taxes are too high. And I was like, but the tax increase was only 1%. It's been the lowest it's been in, we think, 30 years. So where are you getting? I knew where they were getting their information from. They're reading the mayor's blogs. And we know that this council knows and the controller knows that we did a great job this year with our budget, and the city did great with our budget. 1% is very low. Could it have been lower? Maybe. But really not, it really wouldn't have meant that much of a difference in your tax bill. Do we want it to be zero? Of course we do. Absolutely. We all pay taxes here. But 1% is really a good rate. And we have this vision that in the years to come, we're going to be able to keep it low as well. So I feel very proud that the controller and I, and somebody who I ran against 6 years ago, whatever it is, agreed on the financials and how the city's moving forward. Another thing that we were really able to accomplish was the police officers' salary increases. The police officers for years have been getting paid for prior year's salary. I think they were getting paid for 2014 salary or something like that. And we made it compulsory. We made it right by our officers, because the reality is that our officers were leaving us. They would get the experience that they would need in the city, and then they would walk out the door and go to Briarcliff or Elmsford and do traffic cop work. And we need them to stay here. So I know the mayor is touting that, oh, we need new officers. We don't need new officers. We need experienced officers that know this community, have put their time in, and can really bring value to the community. And to hear that we have 240 officers, the same amount that we have in White Plains, it's the same amount in White Plains, 4.2 square miles, 240 officers, we have enough officers. So again, I'm very confident that the work that we've done on this council and our collaboration with the Controller's Office has been good. We actually heard from the Deputy Police Commissioner that we're the talk of the town when it comes to police officers around the county, because everybody was really excited about the increases that we gave our officers. Our officers are happy, believe it or not, but you wouldn't hear that from the mayor and the Looney Tune information that he puts out to the public. Mrs. Crump, thank you, and I want to thank Timothy and Lorraine as well. I wish I had known that there was a sequence to what you were doing. I definitely would have called you guys out in the order. your work putting together, which turned out to be really 20 minutes of the information that has been going on with Sentinel over, I want to say 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years, is 100% accurate. Mount Vernon residents don't know all the details of that, but every day we are wasting money because we didn't accept the assessment that Terrence Horton did with the Sentinel contract. I saw it, I witnessed it, I went to Korea on my own dime to view it, and I knew it could be done. In a room smaller than this, we could have been manufacturing LED light bulbs. Manufacturing them here in Mount Vernon, stamped, made in Mount Vernon. Totally won't be done. So absolutely, we have a law firm, a very expensive law firm, spending a lot of billable hours fighting what we could have paid for time over time. So when you go out there and you look at all the different street lamps that are out there, they're all different shades and colors, know that that's all confusion. That's all Mount Vernon confusion. We were the first ones in trying to get our LED lights done. Really, I can't even think what other communities still has halogen lamp bulbs out there. New York City whipped it right through. Yonkers surpassed us. New Rochelle did theirs. We're the only ones looking foolish, and we were the first ones in. Doesn't make sense to me. I supported Terrence and the Sentinel contract as soon as I got back from Korea. Those votes that were on the Board of Estimate, I think I did most of those votes. Pay him. Get the assessment. Accept the assessment that we have, that he did work on. We can save dollars just by putting that assessment in and lowering our bill. Our bill in the city is different than your bill at your home or in your apartment.
I just want to bring to your attention one thing. It was the mayor who championed that whole lighting contract for the city. And now he's against the contract.
It's disturbing. So I just want you to know, at your home or in your apartment, you know that meter is running, and that's what controls when you turn on something, that meter goes faster. It doesn't work like that for cities and municipalities, right? We're able to tell the power authority, whoever it may be, how much each light bulb is. We get to tell them, and that's how they bill us. There's no meter running. So we're still telling them that we're spending, what, 800 watts for a street lamp, or maybe 400 watts for a street lamp. But that street lamp may have a 100-watt bulb in it. But we're still paying for 400 watts. That assessment was to realign all of that to make it right. So every year that goes by is about $1 million wasted in electrical costs. So that dialogue that the Crum family put together, 100% correct, with the exception to the Black Star News. I don't know who Black Star is, but if they were calling me, I would agree with 99% of what you provided. Mount Vernon has failed again. It's embarrassing. It really is. It really is. Mrs. Richardson, thank you for coming out. It's always good to see you. I like your address, and I'm very proud to say that when I was on the County Planning Board, that was one of the first buildings that I approved to be built. So I didn't have the opportunity to actually go into the building. I did a campaign thing one time, and I went through the building and knocked on doors. And it made me very proud to know that there were people that lived in Mount Vernon that needed a place to live, a smaller place, a more conducive place that fit. So I'm very glad to see you. I'm very glad to hear that you're president of that organization. That's good to know. Because there's a lot of people there that told me stories of where they lived in Mount Vernon, and they were very happy where they were, and they need parking and they can get around. So I'm glad to see you, and I want you to keep coming back to the council. Mr. Billy is gone. It was good to see Mr. Billy. We were all very disturbed about the shooting on 3rd Avenue at the mansion. We like the mansion. We like that there's a place where girls can have Sweet 16 parties. That's affordable, right? How many places are affordable to have celebrations of life, right? Wedding receptions. We've even had political events, retirements, things like that at the mansion. Finally, we don't have to go to New Rochelle. And to hear that this gentleman who ran a business, provided for our community, shot down like he was shut down. This whole council was very disturbed at what happened. Very disturbed, because we know people that went there. They got a good deal. They were able to celebrate. He's gone. The lights are off in the mansion. We're deeply disturbed. So to have the mayor turn around and say it's the council's fault for some idiot who was mindset to know is very disturbing. So that family, we pray for them, and we want the mansion back open, but it's very disturbing. Today I saw on Facebook the shooting from outside. It's out there. It's embarrassing. But to blame it on the council because we supported our police officers to continue their service, to ask them to stay, to turn it around and blame it on us, it's disgusting. It's really disgusting. The mayor last night came to us and he tried to okey-doke us with Memorial Field. Memorial Field, the bubble is up. We're very proud about that. Councilwoman Apuzzo did a lot of work to get the bubble put back up. I worked with her. We worked with people that we're not in full agreement with. And we got the bubble back up. But they actually built the club, which connects to it, where the bathrooms are and things, and they didn't put the roof on. I mean, it's just nonsensical. You build a building and you don't put the roof on, it just makes no sense at all. And that's what's going on in this city. We're baffled. Next year is going to be a different year. It's the mayor's first year in. We started out kind of rough with the mayor. I heard from the community. The community said, Marcus, stop fighting him, give him a chance, give him a chance. Okay, give him a chance, but he won't stop. We have, the council sits back and we pass legislation and we go off and work. We have full-time jobs. But it's the mayor's responsibility to promote the city, inform the community, notify the community, alert the community, support the community, and to provide that communication. It's the mayor's job to promote Mount Vernon, make Mount Vernon look good, let people know what's going on with recreation. He's turned it into a Mayor Thomas publicity stunt. I mean, do y'all not notice what he's doing? It's disgusting. He's not promoting Mount Vernon, he's promoting him. It's sad. It's sad. That's what we're finding. So we talk about all this stuff that's going on. The question is, who's allowing all of this? Who's allowing this to happen? David Jones came in, and he wanted to say that he's suing the council because of something we're not doing, but get to the source, Mr. Jones. It's not the council that's hurting people. It's the mayor that's allowing these things to go on. The mayor can fix it immediately. You read the charter clearly says, the council allowed the people of Mount Vernon to elect a mayor who would handle the day-to-day operations. The people elected this mayor to handle the day-to-day operations. The problem is that he's not doing what he needs to do. He was there last night. He brought this lame engineering report about the tennis center. And we kept saying to him, Mr. Mayor, let's just get it done. We have to get the tennis center done so we can move forward with Memorial Field. We want Memorial Field done. He's stuck on this ridiculous, I just don't understand. I read through that assessment in 2 minutes, did I not? There's nothing in there. We paid for that. So there's a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen, and I need the community to wake up. I'm not going to do it in public as much, but I'm going to start talking to people more. I've tried as council president to be as polite as possible. Next year I'm not going to be council president. Things are going to change for Marcus River. I'm going to start telling people loud and clear what's going on in this city. First year is over. Freshman year is over, Mr. Mayor. Sophomore year is coming. You've got to start doing some stuff for the people of Mount Vernon. The mayor brought a contract for a new cable deal that's going on. Somehow he totally excluded the television advisory committee. I see Jamie Pessin here, a former television advisory committee member. Jeff Monroe's in the back. Totally didn't inform the committee that we set up to review that process. Doesn't make sense to me. Next Tuesday, is it? We have our statutory meeting. After the new year, the city council rotates our leadership here. So we're going to have a new president. Is it Tuesday, January 3rd?
Yes.
Tuesday, January 3rd. So it's a good celebration. We usually have food right after. So we ask you all to come out. Councilwoman Apuzzo, we believe is going to be elected council president next year. So I think it's going to be good. New Year is coming. I pray for all of you that you have a prosperous new year. I do, however, want to mention that we have some deaths, not only the gentleman that runs the mansion, but Gary Pretnell, our state assemblyman's son, passed away. He was only 43 years old. I personally didn't know him, but it's heartbreaking. We have real things that we need to concern ourselves with, ladies and gentlemen. Making up foolish stuff, blaming the council for murders make no sense. We need to get real and be conscious. We're going to have a new president in office, and I don't think President Trump, elect, has ever been to Mount Vernon, ever, nor do I believe he ever wants to come to Mount Vernon. So it's going to be a challenge in 2017 and beyond. And if we don't look out for one another, if we don't start supporting one another, not having us yell at us, we have to work together to make our city as great as we know it can be. So let's start doing that as soon as we can. Thank you. God bless you. We're going to try to take a 5-minute break. We'd like to talk to you all. If you have any questions for the council, we do it now. Right after we're going into a legislative session, you can stay and witness that. We only have 4 items, so it shouldn't be that long. Thank you. God bless you. If you decide to leave, have a happy New Year. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item 13 is for information. Item 14 is called for. Item 15 is held. Item 18 is for information. Item 25 is called for. Item 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 is all for information, and that completes my report.
Thank you. Human resources.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no referrals.
Thank you. Does that conclude your report?
And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
All right. Public safety and code.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 1 is being called for. Item number 12, 22, 23, and 24 are all for information. That concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Finance and planning.
Thank you, Mr. President. Items number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are for information. Item number 8 is on the agenda. Item number 9, 10, 11, 11A, 16 are for information. And 17 is being held, 19 is being held. That completes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Abuso,
Here.
Councilwoman Copeland,
Present.
Councilman Edwards,
Present.
Councilman Wallace,
Here.
Council President Griffin.
I'll be present.
Mr. Council
Take
President,
it easy.
Mr. Council President, we have to present the items that was vetoed by the mayor before this body for consideration, which is on the agenda for the record.
Oh, okay.
Deputy Clerk is going to read them into the record.
December 23rd, regarding vetoing ordinance amending Chapter 227 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon. Dear council members, pursuant to the authority granted to me under Section 38 of the Charter of the City of Mount Vernon, I am vetoing item number 9, an ordinance amending Chapter 227 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon on the City Council meeting agenda from Wednesday, December 14, 2016. I am vetoing this item because I have repeatedly demonstrated good faith efforts to work with you on developing a 24-hour parking strategy for commercial and non-commercial vehicles. Both the Planning Department and Industrial Development Agency have taken definitive steps to design plans to request a comprehensive parking study for the city, an initiative that we have notified the council about. Furthermore, the Parking Bureau has taken the immediate step of identifying best practices of neighboring municipalities on methods to better manage the parking crisis we face overall. You should note that they are in the midst of creating area parking permits, particularly around train stations, in addition to talking with other jurisdictions on crafting new policies to mitigate the mayhem that will be caused by eliminating more parking spaces in Mount Vernon. I hope that you come back to the table to discuss these very important opportunities to balance the need to generate revenue, keep our streets clean and safe, and also avoid regressive and oppressive taxes and informal tickets for vehicles parked in the city after 2 a.m. Mayor Thomas. Dated December 23rd, pursuant to the authority granted to me under Section 38 of the City Charter of the City of Mount Vernon, I am vetoing item number 13 on the City Council meeting agenda from Wednesday, December 14th. Item number 13 is vetoed because the entity in question, PKF O'Connor Davies, has been charged with fraud by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission for filing false audit reports in Ramapo, New York. We requested an explanation from Controller Walker as to why she felt it was in the city's best interest to retain the services of an auditing firm that is charged with fraud by the SEC. As the highest decision-making authority in the city, I am very concerned that Mount Vernon's financial administrator is not responding to the auditing firm's violation of Section 10B of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, Rule 10B-5 and Section 17A of the Securities Act of 1933, as well as Sections 17A2 and 17A3 of the Securities Act. It is even more troubling to me that the Mount Vernon City Council is also permitting a troubled firm to continue to have access to taxpayer funds. This office cannot justify the continued employment and payment of thousands of dollars to auditors who have engaged in fraud in neighboring municipalities. I am therefore vetoing this ordinance and urging the Mount Vernon City Council to work with my office to put out a bid for the auditors. And finally, dated December 23rd, pursuant to the authority granted to me under Section 38 of the Charter of the City of Mount Vernon, I am vetoing item number 15 on the City Council meeting agenda from Wednesday, December 14th. Item number 15 is vetoed because it is a politically motivated act that is illegal on its face, violates the constitutional rights of municipal employees, and places the functioning of Mount Vernon City government at risk. Item number 15 is a haphazard publicity act of ordinance with no legal authority to support it. It exposes the City of Mount Vernon to significant legal liabilities. It is a ridiculous waste of time and money. For your convenience, I have attached the publications of Stokes versus City of Mount Vernon and Harris et al. Versus City of Mount Vernon. Your past thoughtless political stunts have cost the city millions. Please focus on doing the work of the people, such as approving the repair of our sewers, revitalizing Memorial Field, or supporting programs for our seniors or youth.
Thank you. Also, we have another, the comptroller asked it, we forwarded to you today, which we put in your packets. It's Dear Honorable Richard Mayor, Honorable Maureen Walker, Comptroller, Richard Thomas Mayor, Honorable Maureen Walker, Controller, Honorable Marcus Griffin, City Council President, and members of the City Council, City of Mount Vernon, Roosevelt Square, Mount Vernon, New York. Dear Mayor Thomas, Controller Walker, President Griffin, and members of the City Council, we write with respect to the December 23rd, 2016 letter from Mayor Thomas to the City Council members relating to our firm and our settlement with Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, regarding the audits of the town of Ramapo. Significantly, as Mayor Thomas seems to have overlooked, our firm reached a settlement in the SEC in which we neither admitted nor denied the SEC's proposed charges. There has been absolutely no education that our firm engaged in fraud, as Mayor Thomas concludes. There were many and various factors and considerations underlining our decision to reach a settlement with the SEC, as in the case whenever disputing parties achieve a settlement. As we have repeatedly advised, our settlement with SEC does not in any way restrict our firm's professional practice, and we remain ready and willing and able to provide top-notch professional services for the City of Mount Vernon as we have done in the past. Very truly yours, PKF O'Connor Davies, LLP. Procedure of ordinance, procedure of passage of ordinance. Every ordinance the City Council shall be written, printed, or typewritten immediately after its passage shall be signed by the President of the City Council and attested by the clerk. The clerk shall thereafter present the same to the mayor, noting the date of delivery to the mayor. If the mayor approves it, he shall sign it and return it to the clerk, and the ordinance shall thereupon take effect. If he disapproves it, he shall return it to the clerk with his objections stated in writing, and the clerk shall present the same with such objections to the city council at its next regular meeting. City council may, within 30 days thereafter, reconsider the same. After such consideration, a 4/5 of all its members of the city council shall vote to pass the ordinance. The same shall take effect notwithstanding the objections of the mayor. We've read the objections. We've complied to the charter and the proper procedure. The 3 objections, vetoes, are now on the agenda for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk and Deputy Clerk. We take a roll call?
We took the roll call, sir. We're now ready for legislation.
Okay. Finance and planning. Mike, thank you.
Just touch it.
Excuse me, Mr. President, I'm just looking for there we go. I have an ordinance granting permission to the Commissioner of Assessment to attend a conference on the application of the 3 approaches to values. So moved.
Second.
On a question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Apuso.
Aye.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Edwards.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye.
Ordinance authorizing the Office of the Controller to enter into agreement with P.K.F. O'Connor Davis, City Auditors. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Yeah, I have a question. And I wanted to put it on. Your mic on, please.
Which I wanted to put on a record. Basically, I understand because I got a chance to talk to some of the people from O'Connor's and Davis, especially at the party. So it was quite interesting to me because when people of these corporations at this magnitude and size, and I want people to understand this because I come from a corporate background, a corporate world. It is better to settle for a couple of dollars than to drag it out to prove your innocence for millions of dollars. And that is a case that they did. Sometimes you settle and you deal with it because the settlement may just be, 10 times less than what it would cost to fight it. I've been in that action before. I've settled before with many things. Because basically at times I don't have actually the energy or want to spend the amount of money to fight something. So it's just better to pay it off and just say, look, it's going to cost me $250,000 in court, and they're asking for $10,000. It's a no-brainer. Give them the $10,000 and just move on. This is a case similar, and I know this and I recognize it because I run a corporation and I've done this many times because it is cheaper to just buy. It makes no sense. You just pay whatever it is little and just move on. For the mayor to go through trying to drag their name through the mud is utterly ridiculous. Ridiculous, especially when he doesn't know the circumstances of the case fully, nor the settlement. So you do not go out there and you badmouth a company and say all of these things about them. Because in that settlement, they did not put in a admission of guilt. It is just a settlement. So I just want to put that on the record so that people are clear on how, because I'm going through the same thing with the mayor, who just put out something that said that I'm guilty, that I may be going to jail, all these other things, and I should resign, and the council should have me resign, only for the Department of Labor to send a letter reprimanding corporate counsel and others stating that there is no finding yet. There is nothing, and that all your information is factually incorrect and very disturbing to the Department of Labor and government. When is this going to end? Ridiculous. I don't see any problem with this firm or their reputation or the ability to represent the city. And I just wanted to put that on record. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Well, I know that for the years that I've been around, that this firm represents most of the larger municipalities in the county and further on. So they're very, very reputable and always have been.
Absolutely, and not only do they represent a number of the governmental agencies, they're one of the largest accounting firms in the county. So I think they are the largest in the county. You can't criticize them for one little partner that maybe did something wrong. And the honest to God truth of what happened in Ramapo was a difference of opinion of accounting process. And like Councilman Wallace said, the difference is that it's hard to fight the government. And they will go and spend years fighting something that's irrelevant. And it's quite possible that the government was technically wrong. But like Councilman Wallace said, putting up the fight isn't worth being right. It just costs you way too much money. Last night we asked the mayor about this one issue, and we entertained him by asking, what problem do you have with Ramapo? And he says that O'Connor Davies is doing the same thing here in Mount Vernon. And we asked him for what is the correlation between Ramapo and what they're doing in Mount Vernon. And he couldn't come up with something. He doesn't even know. He kept referring back to a letter that he wrote, but he couldn't bring up any details about what the correlation was. He's just writing letters to just embarrass our city and to put our name out there. Now we have O'Connor Davies that is as if we're working against them. But once again, the controller has confidence in O'Connor Davies. I have confidence in O'Connor Davies. And the reality is that this decision is solely a council decision. So I believe we're going to override this mayor's ridiculous veto based on nothingness, and we're going to move on. Are there any other comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Puso.
Aye.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Edwards.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye. Public safety and codes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 3, an ordinance amending Chapter 256 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon entitled Streets and Sidewalks. So moved.
Second.
Any question?
Yeah, I do have something to say in a second. Actually, this is just so that people understand that this is amendment of the code for the 2 a.m. parking restriction. And this is to make sure that it's under the right actual code. Legal department had put it under the wrong code before, but it's just a transfer or changing of the codes, but it's the same exact, pretty much, law. Okay, so I think, yes. Well, we didn't write the legislation, brother, but, it is straightened out, and it just goes back to the 2 a.m. Restriction of parking to move your car off of certain main streets, which I find is something that we need to bring some kind of quality of life to our community. It's some kind of decency, and that's it I gotta say.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, I think what we need to do, since we discussed last night the 2 o'clock closing of these establishments, we need to send a letter to all these establishments that are under the law to close at 2 o'clock. They should be closing at 2 o'clock. This way they won't have to worry about the parking situation. All right, so I think we need to work on that immediately.
Agreed.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Puso.
Aye.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Edwards.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye. Legislation and Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have an ordinance authorizing and directing the Office of the Controller to cease payment of salaries and benefits to the vacant offices of Deputy Commissioner of Public Safety, Corporate Counsel, Special Assistant to the Mayor, Third Assistant Corporate Counsel, and Commissioner of Department of Public Works. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Yes.
Councilman?
Basically, I just wanted to make for the record that this legislation here is not just for the actual positions that are on this particular legislation. Yes, sir. Okay. I have to read something into the record?
Okay.
Okay, the city of Mount Vernon in city council convenes, does hereby ordinance and enact. Specifics. Yes. Section 1, the following offices are declared vacant pursuant to Chapter 50, Article 3, Section 50-38 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon. Deputy Commissioner of Safety, Public Safety, Joseph Spezio. Corporate Counsel, Lawrence A. Picari. Special Assistant to the Mayor, Maria Donovan. Third Assistant Corporate Counsel, Lateef Goins. And Commissioner of Department of Public Works, Ralph Uzi. The Controller hereby authorized and direct to cease payment of salary and benefits to the individuals identified in Section 1 above. The ordinance shall take effect immediately. And on the question to finish, basically that there are more folks out there that we will be looking at, and this ordinance is not just subject to those who are listed on the actual documents at this time.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Abuso?
Aye.
Councilwoman Copeland?
Aye.
Councilman Edwards?
Aye.
Councilman Wallace?
Aye.
Council President Griffin?
Yes. Any other matters that need to come before this council?
Yes, Mr. President. We'd like to put on the record that we did try to communicate with the council via email. It was very difficult to...
What council? I'm sorry, you just said the council.
To the city council. We tried to communicate to city council and the corporation council via email. In the process of preparing the agendas, we sent the information, that's why we CC'd you. And these items that are on the agenda was all sent to the corporation council. And we asked them to have appropriate people in this office to prepare the agenda. However, they would not prepare the agenda as requested, and as the council has held me responsible in the clerk's office to make sure this agenda is a reflection of your desires, because this is your agenda. And we are not getting the assistance that we need from the Corporation Council's office. This agenda had to be prepared tonight with the assistance of our legislative assistant. And for some reason, the Corporation Council, who I deal directly with, I do not direct his staff. It's up to him to direct his staff. He's not directing his staff to comply with the recommendations and the requirements and demands of this council. I need to put that on the record.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. President, as we discussed also last night, how the law department is supposed to work with both entities in this government. I think that also has to be researched and shown to us as a body and also to the public and to those who need to hear what the powers are and how the Corporation Council is supposed to work with us. Right now, it's changed dramatically.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that they're only supporting the mayor because the mayor has the key to either open or close that door on them, and that is very, very unfortunate. So that's something that we have to discuss and ask that higher authority to give an opinion on. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. And I did speak of that last night in our council work session. In years past, the corporation council, the head corporation council, always used to come to the council meetings and took our legislative session very seriously. And I said that it was a delicate balance. The corporation council is appointed by the mayor, but the corporation council is a strong support arm of the council. And we really need that person to mitigate any differences that we have with the mayor. So usually, in the past, we've had people, and people that you know who have really worked between the two arms of government, and it's a fine line. This year, day one, the council was totally disrespected, totally wasn't listened to. Our level of authority was diminished, and it was on from day one, and it's really unfortunate. So I'm a big fan of the legal department. Our legal department staff does tremendous work. Their level of exposure to law is very extreme. Any young person that gets out of law school would be delighted to have the exposure to come to City of Mount Vernon to do work. And we've had some gems here, and they've moved on. Some of them moved on because they've gotten other opportunities, and some of them moved on just because they couldn't take the foolishness that's going on in the City of Mount Vernon. That's just the honest to God truth. So, listen, I wish we could get back to the point where our corporation council serves every elected official and gives sound, factual, legal advice. And the advice that they may give to the city council may be different than the advice that they give to the controller and to the mayor. But that's the job of corporation council. In other communities, every council person has their own legal person to assist them in their own legislation. That's how it works in Yonkers. We don't have that here. We really work together to have one legal team working for all of us. That's what Mount Vernon traditionally has been about. This year, everything changed. So, I'm sorry?
Man,
Yes.
I just want to be perfectly clear that the staff of the Corporation Council has been extremely supportive, but they are caught between a rock and a hard place. They want to do the right thing, but they're told not to do things. So I want to be very clear that it is not the staff of the Corporation Council. And it's very difficult to go against their boss. That's why we give the work to the Corporation Council. But for the record, we do thank the staff of the Corporation Council that worked well with the clerk's office for many years. And we just wanted to just put that also on the record.
Well, Clerk Brown, I think for the record, we straighten that out tonight.
I think also, Mr. President, we need to consider staggering the appointments of the law department. You know, that it doesn't come under the auspices of the mayor. These are some things we have to think about as far as advising consent. We just have to look at it and see if it's feasible and if it's legal to be done, because they have to be autonomous.
Another option is to spend taxpayer dollars and have our own attorney working just for us. That's not what we want to do. That's not what we want to do. We want to be able to use one legal person to advise us all and do whatever's best for the city of Mount Vernon. That's really the ultimate goal. We shouldn't have attorneys fighting one another. We should be doing what's best for the city of Mount Vernon, whichever way it may lie. So,
And just for the record too, this is nothing more than a mirror image of the police department. Just bad leadership on the top. It doesn't have nothing to do with those that work in the law department, just those who run it. Like the police department, it doesn't go down to those that work at the police department that out on the street doing their job at all. It starts at the top. Like they said, when the fish stink, it's usually from the head.
well, and the head of all the commissioners is Dark Thomas. Any other comments for tonight? Yes. Yes. Any other comments? I'll take a motion to adjourn, and
Can we have a moment of silence for those that have passed in the past week, Gary Pepper's son, the shooting, passing of the man that had 6 children on Christmas Day.
Absolutely.
Just very sad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his name is Mr. Mandu. Just want to say his name. Yes.
So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call on adjournment.
Councilwoman Puso,
Aye.
Councilwoman Copeland,
Aye.
Councilman Edwards,
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye. Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.